Hey friends, so I just wanted to come on here really quick. I have been personally going through some things as far as not necessarily motivation, but um, really just staying focused on what God has given me personally to do. Um, a lot of things seem, well, no, I'm not even going to say seem, they are bigger than me. A lot of the things that he's given me to do are much bigger than me. And I realized that I was looking too much at myself and not at him. I was, taking what he's given me and then looking at myself and all of my shortcomings and all of my imperfections and all of my past mistakes and all of my, you know, fleshly battles that I have and limiting the how on what he's given me. And so I wanted to encourage someone tonight first by saying, we got to keep our eyes on God because he gives us these big tasks. So, one, we get to see him as we work on these tasks. We get to see how big he really is. We get to see how much he really is in control. As long as we do the natural, he adds his supernatural. Um, I think about when he was telling the Israelites in Haggai, the book of Haggai, he was telling them to rebuild the temple. And the task was bigger than them. But truthfully, he was showing them as they co worked with him that they could trust him, that he was in control of all the resources, and that nothing could stand in the way of his will being done. And so when we are on our journeys, it's important that we take the step, that we put one brick on top of the other. And when it looks like we're running out of bricks, we know that we can count on him to give us what we need to accomplish every good work, right? And so that's how he shows us more of who he is. So in the next, when we accomplish one task that we thought we could never do, when he brings another one to our plates, to our tables, we know that, well, we can reflect on the last time that he showed up. We can reflect on the last thing that he allowed um, us to accomplish that was bigger than us. And so it's a domino effect of bigger and greater every single time. But I wanted to come here as well because I think as humans, especially in America, we sometimes lose interest in working, our interest our interest in using even just our hands, our bodies, our brains, our own brains. And we depend on things to get done for us, whether it's AI or the GPS in the car or whatever it is. We have become dependent truly on things being done for us. And um, as convenient as that can be, we are losing some of the purpose, as we stop working, as we stop doing, as we stop thinking, as we stop creating, as we stop, you know, employing ourselves and applying ourselves, we're losing purpose. A lot of us are anxious, depressed, uh, asking ourselves, what's the point? Asking ourselves, why are we here? And I think a lot of it comes out of not, you know, just simply using our own brains, our own bodies, moving ourselves, like moving our bodies, creating. And so I said, I had posted something earlier about when you look at something, you can kind of see, you can kind of tell. Now, most things, this doesn't apply to every single thing on the earth, but when you look at something, usually you can kind of tell what it was, created for, what its purpose was. And so, for this water bottle, for example, right? It has water in it now, but if it was empty and it didn't have this label on it, right? It'd be an empty bottle of water. Or it would be an empty bottle, not a, it would just be an empty bottle. And so you would think, okay, it's empty, I can put something in it. So this bottle was designed to hold something, right? This cap, this cap is designed to go on. And so this tells me, oh, I can carry this and it won't spill. This must be something I can put something in to close and carry and take other places. Um, and so when we look at its design, it's a container that can be transported and secure whatever is inside of it, right? I say that, great. Well, when we look at ourselves, um, we can kind of pick up on what we're supposed to be doing. And I know when I say this, people are gonna be like, well, what about people who weren't born with legs? Okay. But when we look at the average human being, right, we have legs. We're supposed to use legs. We're supposed to use our own, we're supposed to walk. We're supposed to run. We're supposed to um, be active, right? And then we have hands, posable thumbs. A lot of creatures didn't get those. We did. Um, so we have these hands to do what? Create, employ, build, do things with our hands, embrace, care for, um, cultivate, grow, heal. We're supposed to do things with these hands that we have, our arms, everything. When we look at our design, right? We have a brain. We're supposed to use that to think. We're supposed to use that to imagine and you know plug into our creator who created us and co-create with him. Genesis 1:26, for example, says, so he created man and woman in his image so that they may rule over all creatures. That's Genesis 1:26. We're created to rule, right? And then God tells Adam and Eve, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and subdue it. We're created to create. We're created to procreate. We're created to um, rule over the things of the earth, be productive, be fruitful, multiply. We're created to be doers. We're created to be creators, right? And so when we think back at the very first human beings, they were created to work the ground. They were created to partner with God to govern the earth. Um, and so it's important that we know that. It's important that we do that. I take it back to Matthew 5:16 has been on me. I really think that I'm called to um, speak on that often. But Matthew 5:16, let your light shine so that others may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So ultimately created to glorify God, his creation. Everything in his creation is created to glorify him. But how do we glorify him? Through works. So we can't be stagnant and we can't be complacent, immobile. Again, that's where the sluggishness comes in. That's where the depression comes in. That's where we start to feel like we're pointless because we aren't operating in our purpose. Um, and so when we let our light shine, using the gifts that we're born with, the gifts that God has given us, the talents, our natural abilities, when we use those lights in the assignments that He gives us through our good works, that's when we glorify God. And so I just want to say that as an encouragement because I needed the reminder that No, we're built to work, not to depend on AI, not to depend on technology, not to depend on. We're letting we're letting you know technology or robots or Chat GPT. Sometimes we're letting that take our experiences, because sometimes our experience with God is when we're in the space of a writer's block or a creative block or a challenge. And we have to think through it. That's how we grow. I remember someone telling me that the more a Tesla drives itself, the more it gets used to the roads. And I was like, yeah, that's how I learned to drive too. Like, that's how I built my skill to drive as well. So if I let a car do it and I never do it, then I will just stay stagnant in one position, not knowing how to drive, not knowing how to navigate the roads. And then you can take the road as a life road, a hypothetical life road, a metaphorical life road. I allowing a car to learn the road and me just sit there, I'm missing the whole point of life. Life is meant to be experienced. Life is meant for us to be and do and interact with people and socialize and actually feel God through others and see God through ourselves. And we gotta be careful. And I see some benefits of AI. Okay, I'm not gonna be sitting here and acting like it's not helpful. However, like anything, it can get in the way of our own development. It can get in the way of our own purpose. And it can start to suck the life out of us, right? So I thought it was going to be quicker than it was, but that's what I have for you. Don't forsake or despise the work, okay? Work has been given a negative connotation, but we actually live for work. We live to do. Otherwise, what is the point? So work as if you're working for God, and not man. Hold yourself to standards of excellence, as if God were to walk in the room to check what you were doing, to look at what you were building. Would you be proud to show him what you did today? And again, this is encouragement to myself too, because there are days, and actually more days than I'd like to count, when I don't feel like doing anything because I'm discouraged, overwhelmed, anything like that. But just kind of give yourself a second, step back, recalibrate, listen for God's voice, seek him, and look at him. Like I said in the beginning, look at him. As he said, he's strongest in our weakness, and his grace is sufficient. So that's what I want to give y'all today. And I love you. And I don't know who needed to hear it, but God does.